howdy, I wanted to talk about Wren's Resurgence. This is a 2D action platformer, but it's basically a 2D platformer, Metroidvania, that sort of style of game. I like the graphics of it, you know, it's kind of got those old school graphics. I like the action and the combat feels pretty good. The game is a smaller game and you can feel that, especially in the menu system. I felt like the menu system was fine. You kind of press the start button to access the menu system and things like that, but it didn't feel like there was a lot of like quick switching with this game in terms of like being able to quickly switch weapons. Sometimes I was a little confused on like how some of the weapons worked. The game doesn't really explain a whole lot to you. It tells you at the beginning kind of what to do, but once it gives you those initial tutorial movements, it kind of just lets you go, and you have to kind of figure it out on your own. So the game tells you, hey, there's a map at the bottom, but I was always kind of confused in terms of like finding the map in general. And for somebody like me that doesn't know where they're going, you know, it's kind of exciting to discover new places, but eventually I do like finding a map, and not being able to find one as much as I played of it was kind of frustrating to me. You know, I'm not great when it comes to like figuring certain things out on your own. It's one thing to like figure out on your own and do like a Metroidvania sort of style, but when I have like no sense of direction at all in terms of where I'm going and what I'm supposed to be doing, I get very confused. And for the most part, I would just go right, because sometimes you can go left and up and down, just like any sort of game in this genre. But like, I would just kind of guide myself along and be like, all right, let me just go right. Let's see if that's the way to go. And then occasionally things would pop up to be like, yeah, this is the way you need to go. And I'm like, cool, that kind of makes sense. That's awesome. I did come across a point where there was a shop that opened up that you can buy new abilities, which was kind of cool. I didn't have enough money at the time to buy them, but I was unclear on whether or not another shop would appear, because I'd only seen the one, and I didn't really feel like going all the way back to the shop. There is no fast travel, at least with the bit that I played, and there are rest spots that you can have at least. Like, there's rest checkpoints. You can manually save pretty much whenever you want, so those are nice features. The developer did a good job of adding options for you in terms of like how much damage you take versus the enemies. Again, for somebody like me, I appreciate that about Nine Souls and this game as well, to make the game a little bit easier for me in terms of fighting enemies and stuff like that. But then again, when I'm just confused about what exactly I'm supposed to be doing and where I'm going, it's kind of like, I don't feel the need to kind of keep going with it. I did come across a boss that I beat to get a new weapon. I was like, okay, that's cool. But you know, it's kind of the thing you've seen in a lot of these games before. So the menu, again, it's like a one button sort of thing, but the menu is a little rough to navigate, but it did give me good options in terms of like how to, you know, set the game in settings and how to adjust the difficulty for me. I just wish that there was kind of a map to access a little bit easier or right at the beginning of the game, so I can kind of get some sense of where I'm at, because I appreciate the Metroidvania and you kind of figuring things out on your own, but if I'm like too lost, it just kind of takes me out of it and I become more frustrated than anything else. Sometimes you'll come across little arrows, they'll be like, hey, there's some sort of item in this direction, or it could be a boss. It's kind of up to you to explore. It could be either or. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool, but I was still kind of lost to where to go. I like that the character could jump and grab ledges and pull themselves up, and then you can do the kind of the wall jump, and then sometimes with the way the wall jumps are set up, it was unclear whether I could make this jump with the wall jump, or I can't, or I'm just bad at it, is why I couldn't make the jump. I wasn't sure. You know, and again, for this kind of game, there is a lot of room. I mean, you don't go, it's not level-based necessarily. It's like you go from area to area, and you can kind of go from one area to the next kind of whenever you want. I mean, I was going from like this inside cave, then to outside, then a building, then in the sewer. And so I just kept going and going and going. And then at some point I got all confused because I was supposed to try to find like where this light is to help see in the sewer, and I still couldn't find it. If you're looking for this Metroidvania action style game, it might be suited for you to try it. I think it is worth trying. I think there's some good elements to it that make it worth giving it a heck of a shot and worth your time. I played it on PC and it ran pretty okay for me.